Hey everyone, it's Shama with Girls and Geese We're back for yet another Ask a Black Belt segment. Today we have yet another amazing instructor joining us today. Her name is Angie Vogel. She's a black belt out of the Philly area. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good. How
How
are you?
good, good. How have you been?
Can't complain.
So thank you so much for agreeing to be on this, agreeing to do this interview segment. So how it works, I was just explaining it to all of them. I don't know if you're listening, but they're just going to post their comments. We'll answer them. And then if we don't get any questions, then you and I are just going to have an awesome conversation and catch up.
Sounds good to me.
So go ahead and if you can share some things about yourself for the people out there.
All right. So I am a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I have been training just a little over 8 years. I am one of the instructors at Balance Studios in Philly. And I also own Jiu-Jitsu Candle Co., obviously my Instagram handle here. What else? Oh my gosh. I like to bake bread, and I hurt myself in a freak berimbolo accident yesterday.
Oh no.
So if I don't turn this way, the reason why is that I tried to invert to my bad side, and I
Oh.
regret it. I regret it. It wasn't even worth it.
Oh man. Well, I hope that heals up pretty quickly because I know that
Same.
sucks.
You
Not
know,
being able to.
the longer you train, the more you can tell like how many weeks it's gonna be. So I got up this morning. I was like, "This is like a 2 weeker. It's a 2 weeker. It's gonna be all right."
Uh, how, how many Advils did you put in, Angie?
Uh, I'm on my. This is. I only took 6. I'm saving the other 3 of the day for bedtime.
Oh yeah, because you want to be able to sleep through the night.
Exactly. Exactly. See, you
One of
know,
so being a baker, someone asked, "What time should I start dinner?"
that's my husband.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's a good husband taking
Yeah,
care of you.
right. Surely it will be chicken nuggets.
Oh well, hey, food is food.
Exactly.
Oh my. Well, I remember when we met. I think it's been, gosh, maybe. Oh God, I can't tell. My
And just
concept of
like a
time is
year.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like
about
a
a
year.
year ago.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because it's right after I got my black belt.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. I remember like going and I'd never been to the Philly area before, so it was really awesome to get to know you and a little bit and I mean you have an awesome sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like
I
we
try.
had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at
It's
that
fun.
one. I remember.
Yeah, it was a good event. It was really fun. It was nice to have all the girls together too. It's kind of a bummer now with like all the COVID stuff, so we don't see everybody as much as we used to.
No, I know. So how has it been for you being an instructor and training and navigating all of this?
So we were closed for about 5 months. We opened back up, and so we were doing like pod training because at most lifers you can't give it up for 5 months. There's no way. So we had a group of friends that we were training with, which was awesome. And then when we started to open, it's like small groups. Like now it's somewhat back to normal, I guess. I mean, there's
Yeah,
not as many students back.
yeah.
Um, so it's I don't know, in some ways I like it better because there's a lot more personalized attention with the students. um it's you kind of get it's a little harder training sometimes because they're so used to like your shenanigans that they shut your stuff down quicker.
Ah,
Which is
so
good.
yeah, yeah.
It's like everybody knows I'm going to try to get an underhook. Well, everybody knew that before, but regardless, now they know even more so, and it's the same 15, 18 people, and it's just like now you got to get trickier about getting your game going, which is really good. So but yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough for everybody. So it's just I understand why people aren't back. I get it.
Mhm.
And I just hope that we get closer and closer to normal as time moves on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I hope that we're all kind of moving in that. It's so hard because everything's so different everywhere, and so like
Yeah.
different places are at different points, and so it's I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
think there's
everybody has their own circumstances too. It's like
yes.
what your lifestyle, you might be surrounded by people that are more, vulnerable than no one would ask you to do jujitsu. It's a luxury to be able to train, right? And I mean, I think the more you realize that, the more you kind of can't really judge people for not wanting to do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. So how do you oh, there we go. We got one. So what is the biggest challenge that you've faced as a female black belt?
As a female black belt, so I think, I mean, I would like to think that I face the same challenges as male black belts, right? Which is, getting respect for jujitsu and making sure. I mean, I guess if you have the goal to teach, making sure that your students respect that you can execute, but also that the idea behind teaching is that I can make you better. So I can teach you an armbar regardless of whether I'm executing that armbar every day on the mat. It's an understanding of jujitsu. So I think for me, the challenge is believing in myself enough to sort
Mhm.
of facilitate that for myself, right? So, I think in the beginning is very, I maybe had a little chip on my shoulder about it, like about being a woman and having to prove myself all the time and, like going harder than I needed to go or being, sometimes bitchier than I needed to be. And I'm trying to like go back now and be like, okay, that was just, everybody grows on the mat, right? So it's like
Mhm.
I feel more mature now. So I think I try to carry that with me less. But it was a
Mhm.
challenge, not so much that other people were imposing, but a challenge that I was putting on myself that really I was just making it more difficult to kind of find my own pathway. So I would say, not necessarily like jujitsu is hard for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. I mean, jujitsu sucks. I've seen plenty of guys cry in the locker room, plenty of girls cry in the locker room. It's hard, right? So I
Yeah.
think you put these like, I don't know, or at least I do sometimes, just these just insane ideas about what you're supposed to be doing or how good you're supposed to be or how someone should react to your instruction. And you know what I mean? And it's like it's not for you to decide how people are going to react to you. It's
Mhm.
just for you to work hard and do your thing and try to be better than you were the day before.
Absolutely. What do you think are some of the challenges just female black belts as a whole face of today? The circumstances have changed so much, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still, I would like to see it be more normal for female advanced instructors, right? For co-ed classes. So it's pretty
yes.
pretty usual to see females teaching the kids classes, pretty usual to see females teaching the female only classes, but it's very difficult, I'm sure to get, I mean, even for me, and I'm at what I would consider a somewhat progressive school when it comes to that kind of stuff, just
Mhm.
to get a class. You know what I mean? Just I want an advanced class. So for me, it took me, I mean, rightfully so. I was already a brown belt.
Mhm.
And I would like to, so sometimes, pre-COVID, of course, like women will come visit and I teach the Friday night nogi and it's an advanced class and they would come and be like, oh, you're the instructor? I'm like, yeah. And to me, it's so normal because I've been teaching since I was a blue belt. So it's just totally normal. And I forget that there
Mhm.
are other circumstances at other schools where they're not like, 20 plus women. They're not female advanced instructors, not even female advanced belts in some cases.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more opportunity for women, higher belts that outside of just like, well, you're relegated to women's only. And like, us guys over here are going to do the advanced stuff. And it's like, well, there's a lot of advanced women, you
Oh
know what I mean?
yeah.
And I don't
Absolutely.
think it matters. I have tons of male and female students that, we all learn from each other. And what you're good at, you're good at. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Speaking of what you're good at, this sounds like somebody plotting on you. They say, what submissions are you working on and how do I stop it?"
How do I stop it? What am I working on right now? So I have a foot lock from Deep Half Guard that I'm working
Uh-huh.
on. And I'm forever working on Americanas and paper cutter chokes forever. And there's no stopping it. So whoever asked,
There's no hope.
just just accept your fate. your fate.
Oh my gosh. So, so you're also a business owner, and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
So we just had this crazy idea one day. Josh was sitting on the couch and he was like, basically, I am like obsessed with candles and I would spend like a crap ton of money on stuff. And he's like, wouldn't it be great if you learn how to make your own candles? Like, hint, hint, like, stop spending so much money. And I was like, because I'm pretty crafty. I like crafty stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we had a candle called White Belt Tears that smelled like the tears of white belts? And so you don't know me super well, but the people on here that know me know this. It's either 100% with me or I'm not doing it at all. And so as soon as I got a candle that actually looked like a candle, I was like, let's open a business. It'll be great. And then I thought, oh, we'll sell like 2 candles. Everyone will laugh and that will be the end of it. And now it's like, it's a year old. We actually like people.
That's awesome.
It's real fun.
Oh my gosh. So what? Just so people know, I mean, I know it's your handle on here, but just so that how do they buy some candles from you?
So you can go to jujitsucandles.com. Super easy. And pay for them and I'll send them to you.
It's that easy. See,
It's
folks.
very simple. We just came out with a couple new ones, so I'll be putting the holiday stuff together probably this week. I just did a neon belly candle, which you can kind of see my stuff
Oh,
behind me.
very cool.
Yeah, we just redid all the belt colored ones. So we try to come up with funny ones and keep it moving a little bit. But number one is White Belt Tears, without a doubt. It's everybody loves it. It smells good too, actually.
So, do you remember being a white belt? So somebody asked. What are some of your things that you remember
I
from being a white
do
belt?
remember being a white belt. I remember it. I mean, I remember that I sucked real bad.
Uh-huh.
And I knew one move, and it was a cut pass, and it was terrible. Now I think back now, I'm like, when I was a whip, I was like, oh, it's great. I'm doing fine. What else do
I
I remember?
got
It's
this.
just so fun. You know what I miss about white belt? There's no expectation. So like you go to open
Yes.
mat, you roll with everybody. It's like you expect to lose, and there's something so like relaxing and freeing about that. And I know they say you're supposed to leave your ego and all that stuff, and that is true, but no one does it. I don't want to even hear that. So like it's a great time. You're like doubling your knowledge every single time you step on the mat. And at black belt, it doesn't happen like that. It's tiny increments. It's weeks to do one or two, get better at one or two things. Whereas when you're a white belt, you're just absorbing constantly.
Like a
So I kind of
sponge.
remember. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, 7 years ago. It's not that
do
bad.
when you got your black belt, did you feel any kind of pressure in getting that? Like, oh, like it's just gotten real here. Like, now I'm a black belt. I need to know what I'm doing, or like any.
I felt more like that at brown belt than I did at black belt. And I think mostly because I spent a lot of time teaching at brown belt. And so I not that I didn't feel, I mean, of course, everybody wants to like, I guess, you know, be the belt that they are, right? Of course, like I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to like be a total, crap on the mat, but it's like, when I got my brown belt, I was like, oh no, I'm not ready. I don't know anything. I'm gonna be so bad. And then when I got my black belt, I think I at least I felt like I was starting to understand jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really it came from teaching, because before that I was just about executing my own stuff. And then, people would come and ask me about things that are outside of my game, or things that like, they wanted to work on, and I'd have to think about it and understand and explain. So, I was still scared. I was nervous. I was just about, execution, of course, but I was less worried about my black belt than I was about my brown belt. For some reason, I don't know, brown belt really messed me up. Like I sobbed when I was on the list. I was so sad. I was just like, no, I'm not ready. I want to be a brown belt. I mean, and of course I was excited when I got it, but
And talking
yeah.
about how you know that kind of helped your jujitsu. do you think that that's something that everybody should at least try out that has a desire to do it, or some, do you think
Yeah, I
that
mean, I
that's
think
something that
it's,
anybody can benefit from?
I think you have to want to like nerd out on jujitsu a little bit, right? In order to like to be a good teacher. So to me, it's like it's not worth teaching if it's just for like self-satisfaction or to
Hmm.
show people what you know. It's that's not enough of a desire because it won't force you to be a good teacher. You have to genuinely care that your students will be better. And I think that not everybody has that calling, let's say. So, and you have to also, and I think this is like the second tier of ego, be okay saying like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that answer. Let's find out together, or let's ask somebody who's better at that position or whatever. So, I think it's, if you have a desire to do it, it's a great thing to try for sure. But like, I hated teaching the kids classes. I hated it. I hated it. I just,
I,
because I just didn't like it. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
think kids classes for everybody.
uh, it's brutal. So you should always start there, though. I do think it's like worth kind of like paying your dues as far as teaching
Yeah.
is concerned, because none of the kids are going to be there. None of them are going to listen to you. And so you're always going to have those students that are like not paying attention. And it just brings me back to the kids class. I'm like, I cannot beat adults with a pool noodle, even though I
it
wish I
always
could.
it always reminded me of like herding cats. Like
Yes. Yeah. It's
they are
like,
just doing whatever they want to do.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to figure out what to teach with the kids. You're just like, what
Yes.
did I even get out of it sometimes, Yeah.
Is it Leticia Ribeiro? Oh my gosh, her kids are insanely like amazing. They fall in. I've never seen a kids class like her kids
Yeah. I don't
classes.
know how people do it.
Well,
I could never wrangle them. I was so bad at it. I just could never wrangle them.
so in going through your journey, you've been around for like 8 years now. What are some, if you could pin out like one of your favorite memories, what would that be?
Favorite memory. Dang. So not necessarily like jujitsu. Well, it's jujitsu related, but last year for my 40th birthday, the team threw me a surprise party. So it was like 2 days before I got my black belt. I turned 40, and I mean, honestly, the best birthday I've ever had in my life. It was just so lovely. And I could cry just talking about it. It was just so nice that they did that. But yeah, I think that's what I'm like. I can't believe you got me to cry on this.
Oh my gosh, you're our first
Oh,
crier.
unreal.
No. I
But
think
it's a great memory because I just felt like such a family. You know what I mean? It was just really nice. I
yeah.
can't believe you guys are making me cry.
Aw. I think that's what makes jujitsu so special too, is that community. And I think that's what we lost a lot
Oh
during this
yeah, for
whole
sure. Yeah.
situation.
I,
I
right. That's
miss
what
it
keeps you coming
dearly.
back. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I know.
Yeah.
And not having that, like even just drilling and
Yeah. It's not the same as like sitting on the side of open mat, like talking shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Aw. No, for sure. So, like, I guess, what are, like, what is the best piece of advice that you've gotten? That's another good one that I think a lot of
Hmm.
people benefit
Piece
from.
of advice. So, a couple of things. The one thing I remember, Val, and Val. For those of you that don't know Val Worthington, she's awesome.
Yeah, she just chimed
She,
in a little bit ago.
oh yay, hi Val. She said something to me about figuring out how I was going to give something back to jujitsu, and I never. It took me so long to even figure out what she was talking about. Like in my mind, I was like, Val, she's so wise. Like I don't know what she's talking about, but I want to be that wise one day. And
She really is.
it just planted this idea in my mind that like, isn't she? Oh my gosh, I know she's amazing. Just this idea in my mind, like to it doesn't always have to be, I guess, a like a traditional sense of it. You know what I mean? Not just teaching, not just doing things, but like everybody's got something that they receive of value from jujitsu, like that's unrelated to the sport. And so just to put that idea in someone's mind to like think about what you can do, for the community or for the sport or for just a friend in need, something like that. You know what I mean? And it was such a good piece of like a good like piece of information to carry and also give to other people. What's other good advice that I've gotten? I don't know. I mean, I've gotten so many people just give you such good little tidbits every once in a while, I try to do the same, but
Speaking of the giving back, where do you think you're kind of like, where do you see your giving back? Is that through your teaching, or is there some kind of end goal?
yeah, I mean, I think, you know, what I like to try to instill in my students, and this originally started with like the women's team, and then I think as I sort of got more involved in co-ed teaching, it kind of expanded. And as I evolved as an adult, I think it expanded too. But just the idea of like being able to openly discuss some of the emotional like trials of jujitsu, which I think is a big thing for the guys because, like I think women just naturally or more naturally emote, some of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of times like I'd like to talk about like the ego stuff and I like to talk about like, you know, moving through the ranks and how you're going to feel about that and how to practice something that you're not good at and those days you suck on the mat and you want to quit because that happens to guys too, you know what I mean? So I think it originally like with the women's teams and all the women's events I've been to is like we always kind of have that round table thing where like we're talking about that stuff and trying to work through it together. And I try to make that available to all my students, not just the female students, you know what I mean? Because there's plenty of guys that struggle with the same stuff. So I just try to keep like an open office policy when it comes to that stuff where, if I see something and I'm like, hey, like this is part of the game, like I see that you're getting frustrated, this is how we can try to work through it.
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much. This was a really awesome to have
My
you
pleasure.
on. And I'm so excited that we were able to connect today and that we had the opportunity for you to share a bit of your wisdom with us.
That was
Because,
great. Yeah. I can't believe I cried, but it's all right.
oh, you're softy. It's okay.
I
It's
really am. I don't know what happened to me.
I'm a softy too. Don't worry. It's, no, but it's I think it's so important what you're doing and what you're instilling in your students because we all play a part in this,
Yeah,
all of us.
totally.
Everything we do is making this not only a better jiu-jitsu community, but just on a hokey pokey on a world level,
Exactly. We're
like
doing our best.
we are, and I think we could all use that,
That's true.
especially
That's
after
true.
everything we've been through. So, but thank you again. I look forward
Yeah,
to
my
actually
pleasure. Thanks
seeing
for
you in
having me.
person and whenever this is over.
Yeah,
But
we'll have to get together soon.
yes, for sure. But you take care and thank you everyone for tuning in. Sorry for the
Thanks,
technical issues
everybody.
today. All right, take care. Bye, guys.